Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 909 for the 20th. Is it 909? Yeah, I think so. For the 20th of August. And I just want to start off with the frontline changes report has been published, but the Deep State UA published say that they have updated the map. When I went to look for the when I was mapping it, I hardly see much changes. Then after I published the frontline changes report, the map got updated, and it got updated in a very ridiculous way. So over at the New York front, they draw it in this way. This looks like a massive cope. This is the same rant I'm going to do. No, I have talked about the gray zone. How the gray zone is being weaponized to disregard gains by your enemy, which is why I don't like to use gray zones in my mapping. Not just the Ukrainians. This is the Ukrainian example, but the Russians are doing the same thing. Oh, if you look at Ryba's mapping for the KURSK update, it's the same. The gray zone is ridiculous. It's a huge level of gray zone, and it's like, if the Ukrainian forces are in certain places, clearly the Russians can't be there. Then that place is captured. Clear. It's just simple as that. No, if you play the gray zone game, then you might as well just gray zone the whole of Ukraine, and nobody needs to do any mapping, because Russia is just there temporarily, right? They're only there for a short while. No, just gray zone the whole freaking country. You don't need to do mapping. So no, this ridiculous encirclement they have mapped in. And they claim that, oh, the situation is so difficult. And then, everyone, including bloggers and the Institute of the Study of Telegram, don't know what is that, say that, say that the Russian capture is fake. It's not real. They say that there's a unique situation because there's chaos on both sides. And they say that the Russians are just bypassing the Ukrainian forces to go to Nelipivka. And then, they say that the Russians are not trying to capture the village, but simply to gain a foothold in the depths. And then it's like, isn't this projection? Isn't this what Ukraine is doing in Kursk? And on the other hand, the Russians are staying in the rear. Also, does not end well, which is obviously everybody would just shout each other's rear position. If it's not to push the Russians out of Nelipivka, then it will certainly make sense. But they'll do with whatever they have, which is like, I have been reporting the collapse of New York front for days. In fact, maybe for at least a week now. It has been collapsing. Like literally collapsing. The front line just keep changing in a massive way, with indications through the mapping that clearly the entire defense line has gone. There is a mass withdrawal of Ukrainian forces out of New York. Mass withdrawal. Mass withdrawal. Like huge withdrawal. How could they possibly stay in this place? They can't possibly stay in this place and die. When the Russian forces, they themselves have mapped it that the Russian forces is pincering them. In this format. This finger and this thumb. One does not just walk into Mordor kind of, the meme. One does not just simply walk into Mordor. And then they say that the Ukrainian forces stay here. Then after that, they changed the mapping to just 2 lines and claim that the Russians have full control over the roads, but nothing at the side. Come on, this is just freaking cope. This is just cope. Like, there's no other explanation for this. I don't believe the Ukrainian forces are that silly to continue to leave troops when they are getting encircled constantly. There's only 2 ways to describe it. Either the command in all these various fronts, like in Avdiivka, in this New York, in Pivnishne, they are all incompetent, or Deep State UA is just shitting you, Because remember there's one incident that I talked about the encirclement, then I talked about the Ukrainian forces, the Deep State UA news went viral on the mainstream media, and then it became some kind of a calamity in terms of PR disaster. But it's not exactly a disaster, because now it seems like it can be weaponized, because now they know that their posts, their video, their reporting is hugely read by the mainstream media reporters, and they will just believe whatever they write, and this becomes a weapon, which means that now they can make up stories of huge success in breaking through encirclements, which they have done before, and I did report before, and I don't believe, I don't really believe that much about it, but they report that before at the Avdiivka front. I'm quite sure if you guys who have been following the SITREP for some time, you would have remembered. So I think they're gonna pull off the same shit, so that the fall of New York seems like nothing compared to the no heroic exit, no heroic breakthrough out of an encirclement. The soldiers are the heroes. Suddenly, the loss of the settlement becomes a nothing burger. The loss of New York is huge. It's one of the most fortified city in Ukraine. It is the hub for the defense of the entire eastern line at the New York front, and it's gone now. It's lost, and then now they're making up stories. In my opinion, this is pure stories. And even if there's just one squad there, they're gone. They are encircled. They're gone. The area is just waiting to be cleared. They probably are injured, stuck inside the basement of the factory, and that cannot be considered troops, fighting troops. This is what it is. So I'm starting to feel like, no, this is becoming a habit of them, especially over the New York front, and the Port Grove sector, where they are losing huge amount of grounds and they're just making up stories about all these encirclements. And as far as we think that, many of you guys who are pro-Russian or neutral may think that the Russians have improved so much in their fighting. I don't believe there's that many encirclements. Come on. The Ukrainian forces would see this coming, and they should have retreated the troops. Why? Sersky said it himself, that the Ukrainians' priority now is the life of their own soldiers, and how could this happen? So I just don't buy the bullshit. It's lost. They're just waiting for some breakthrough. They're waiting for this Glushkovo offensive to kick off, because once the Ukrainians start off the Glushkovo offensive, and the Russians can't really do much because the bridges are all destroyed, the entire focus of the mainstream media will be on this offensive, and no one will talk about New York. And then they can just make up the heroic story, and then the whole the loss of New York become a nothing. So I think that is what is currently happening. Otherwise, it makes zero sense. The front has collapsing for some time now. I already talked about there's zero ways to defend all those locations. Yeah, it just cope. So anyway, just continue on the situation report, because I'm very triggered by by that report. Like, first they didn't update the map, when they say that they have updated. Then after that they said I saw the updated map. It's like, what the. Okay, we go from the KURSK update first. Briefly going through, I haven't done the KURSK update, the detailed one, so yeah, no airtime. So the Ukrainian forces are still on the offensive, but this time around the Russians seems to be a little bit more of active. So over at this far western sector, there is geolocation of a Russian airstrike on the supposed command post over at KURSK. I believe this is posted by the Russian Defense Ministry, the video. There's also shelling reported at Vilna Sloboda. Could suggest that there might be some Ukrainian forces over there. They might be planning something big over there, but no, so far, yeah, haven't happened yet. Over in the Glushkovo sector, Russian forces continue to shell Vorozhba as well as Bilopilia. One of them was actually taken in the video. There's an airstrike on a tower for communications, and the Ukrainians started to destroy the pontoon crossings. There is or in the DPA community we call them the tampon crossings. So the tampon crossings got destroyed. There might be still one or two still surviving. Who knows? Because the Ukrainian sources talks about or the Ukrainian side of the people talk about the pontoons getting destroyed, like everything is gone, but just from one single video. So, and I saw that video, I can't see much things. I just see a lot of smoke, but not even sure what kind of smoke is that. Is it something destroyed smoke, or is it just a covering smoke? And the video was too short to even see anything. So I'm not sure. Maybe I saw the wrong video. Maybe there's a more extended one, but it is what it is. So over at the western front, at the western front, at the southern side, Russian forces are counterattacking over at Penasovka as well as Venizapno. Venezapnoe. So there is some. I'm not sure if this is some kind of assault or is this some fire attack on Ukrainian positions. So this is currently happening around here. Shelling reported at Toysty Lok as well as Lyubimovka. So we go further up north. Let me move this down so that we can see the arrow still. So the Ukrainians are still trying to push for Kerenevo. There is some heroic actions over Kerenevo, but they are all destroyed, unfortunately. So the Ukrainians are also attacking Kremenayanoe, according to Ryba and the Russian Defense Ministry. So the Ukrainians are still struggling to break through Kerenevo, and they are still not seemingly able to get through this area at all. Like they did a rush in Kerenevo down this highway, so which means they confirmed that the Ukrainians have at least this area here. So the Ukrainians storm. They definitely have at least this eastern part of Kerenevo. They stormed down the highway, and it was a disaster. The Russian forces airstrike the column of vehicles. The vehicles are driving apart. So they are doing tactical driving. So they're driving apart, but they still get destroyed one by one. According to what I read on some other sources, they say that it's a UMPK, which is I believe is a guided bomb. So the Russians now have the airstrike capability to hit moving targets with a guided bomb. This is another surprise because we previously did see that the Russians artillery system, arty shells can hit mobile targets. So now the airstrike can also hit mobile targets, and the entire column got devastated according in the video. Like I thought one or two may escape, but it looks like almost all of them got destroyed in that video. So and it's going to be devastating for the Ukrainians. There is also this airstrike that hit the evacuation vehicle. I believe the Ukrainians was trying to drive all the way to the top to north, and then they are trying to secure the northern part, block any Russian reinforcement, so that they can then launch the assault. In like a two-front situation to cause severe problems for the Russian forces, but so far it didn't seem to work, and there's also no indication what's the strength of the Russian defenders around in Kerenevo. So this is important to note. We do not know what is the numbers situation. Anyone that call out any number, my feeling is that it's just picked up from the air. They just made it up. So the same thing, I saw some comments saying that Denis Davidov say that the entire Russian forces of 5,000 troops is stuck in this Glushkovo region due to the bridge getting destroyed. I never seen such number before, so I do not know where he got the number. So yeah, but he say no. Denis Davidov say so. It must be real. No. So the entire northern front went quiet. There's no updates regarding any fighting in the northern sector. So not sure if the Ukrainians still have the fighting capability over in this northern sector, because there is a pretty long way up to reinforce and resupply, and we currently do not exactly know how they are resupplying these troops over in this region here, because we do not know if they still have the control over the highway, or are they able to drive through, or are they still going through the countryside, which the Russian sources claim that they have control over the countryside, which I don't believe both. So I'm keeping to my own SOP, because both sides are just just not having all the information. Russian mapping drew this entire area as a gray zone. Like, come on, man, like entire region. So it's like the same thing, the same problem with the deep state US, the rent I was renting about. You have geolocated troops, which means that anything behind it tends to be mostly captured, or in the area definitely it is captured. So even their assault, where are they assaulting from? There must be a base, a place where they're attacking from. There must be some place that is captured. So I don't like all this gray zone thing. Which is why DPA employs a totally different system. We don't have one map, we have two maps, a Russian map and a Ukrainian map, and even both Russian and Ukrainian map can be entirely invalidated in various places through geolocations. So this is the DPA's way of mapping, and I'm not going to play this game of like making shit up, So this is as best as we have. This is not a reflection of reality. I saw some comments also asking, like how can I put geolocation with such importance? But I just want to share. It's been a long time since I shared this. This is how Intel works. In intelligence, you do not have all the information. No one knows the reality. We can only make educated guess based on the different pieces of information, which is what we call intel. The various pieces of intel we put together, and we have a sense. All these signals and all this information we put together, we make a analysis and an educated guess of what the situation is largely is. And this is what it largely is based on the best information that we have right now. You can't invalidate an entire region with say, oh, these are all Russian now, but there's no evidence for it. This is not how Intel works. You can only work with what you have, and if you start to make believe things, like you just plot in make believe things, then your Intel will be dirty, and then you can't make any good analysis out of bad information. So this is just some to share. And for those that are new to this, to DPA, new to me, I'm not an Intel expert. I used to work in intelligence, but I'm low ranking. I'm not in analysis, because analysis is for high ranking people. So, or people who are work even longer than I did. I was in 6 years in the military. I was in the Intel, and I'm only doing collection. So there is a totally different thing. But I've been through briefings. All this is just basic logic. And again, I also want to highlight: don't believe too much about all these YouTubers or whatever. Whatever they say, they are based on information that is coming from just a few sources, because there's only a few sources now in this Russian war that is trustable. So, and another issue I just want to talk about also, sorry for so much ranting, is that the real intelligence apparatus of any military is way bigger than you can imagine. Way, way bigger. It's not like you watch James Bond, a room with just a few people, or 10, 20 people. No, it's in the thousands of people. And everybody is collecting every single little piece of information. And you have to put all of them together, and you have various hierarchies of analysts that is doing all this work. It's highly, highly complicated. And what we're seeing right now, this is nothing. So, which is why I also don't call myself expert. I have never called myself an expert in the Ukraine war or anything. I don't, because I've seen much bigger things. I have a lot of respect for my former colleagues. The calling myself an expert is an insult to their profession. So, which is why I have never called myself an expert in strategy, tactic, whatever. I'm just not. So, this is important to note. Whatever you're seeing, what I'm reporting for this 2.5 years, this is just nothing compared to the real Intel. So I want to put this caveat out. So continuing over in this Eastern Front. So on the Eastern Front, Russian forces are shelling Alexandria. They're shelling Alexandria. Over in Novo-Ivanovka, there is a tornado hitting a column of vehicles, probably resupplying or something, I'm not sure. And then there is this amazing footage of Ukrainian forces attacking Russian forces at Malaya Loknia. And so this confirms Russian capture of most of the northern part of Malaya Loknia, and the Ukrainians are trying to attack it and eject the Russian forces from it. In the video footage that came out, is allegedly a martyr shooting at the outside row of houses, and which allegedly Russian forces are in. And the martyr just have a field day, because it is an armored vehicle, infantry fighting vehicle fighting against light infantry, probably light infantry. So but this confirmed Russian presence in this area. And then in the Ukrainian information space, they talk about, the Russian forces are surrounded in Malaya Loknia. First thing first, we have talked about the Russian forces potentially, not actually, potentially have been already encircled in this region for some time. This includes Russian forces over at Krylenkoye, stretching to Nikolaivka, Staraya Sorochina, as and this entire region here has already been encircled since at least the 14th or longer, because before that we first have the Russian forces start at Krylenkoye. There is fighting around there, so that was even before the 14th, and that's 1 week ago. Now the pro-Ukrainian information space is now excited about Russian forces surrounded at Malaya Lognia. It's bullshit. It's made up. If you're watching DPA, you will already know this has been the possible situation, but there is also no clear evidence and indication that the Ukrainians actually have any form of encirclement at all. Because the entire northern sector here is a grey zone. It's a massive, massive grey zone. Nobody knows what the hell is happening there, which is why I say I have no idea if the Ukrainians even have the highway at all, or the countryside at all. I don't even know how they resupply the northern front at all. So there is no information regarding all these things at all. And they're making shit up, saying that the Russian forces are encircled. How? Just having one martyr shooting at some houses in one single video means that the Russians are encircled. So this is just be careful. Like, this is nothing to do with pro-Russian, pro-Ukrainian. Also, no, this is just proper analysis, proper reporting. No, at minimum proper journalism. So no, Russian forces are allegedly attacking or shelling Ukrainian forces over at Kotsitsa. Ukrainian forces are attacking Ruskoye Parashnoye, and it comes with this pincer, which this northern flanking movement I mentioned yesterday. So this is the map haven't really because it's a newer information. I need to leave it there for reporting on the frontline changes report. So this is still there. So this is the current situation over at the Eastern Front. It's not very east, but this is what we call it for now, the Eastern Front. So fighting is at Malaya Lognia. The Ukrainians have no breakthrough. There is no change. Zero change in terms of the situation over here, except that the Russians have more ground than we expected, and the Ukrainians are flanking Ruskoye Parashnoye. We move down to the Sudja region. At the Sudja region, there's shelling reported over at the western part of Bodanovka. Not sure what was under attack over around there. The Ukrainians has been geolocated doing flanking operation as well. West of Martinovka, they are also geolocated inside Ruskaya Konopelka and getting destroyed over there in the ambush. So the Russian forces still holding Ruskaya Konopelka, and the Russian forces are holding position in Pushkarnoye, and the Ukrainians probably are trying to flank around Pushkaya Noye, because the Russians are holding too strong a line. So this is still ongoing. The Ukrainian forces are still trying to find a way to break through. So again, strategically speaking, nothing have changed. It's still largely very, very similar. Of course, the front line is moving, but it isn't really moving much because the main line here still remains here, and we still do not have a clear confirmation of Russians losing Martinovka at all. Because if they lose Martinovka, the fighting probably will go up north towards Krulik. But yeah, we don't have that as well, so we're not sure what the hell is happening right at this moment. So we move into the southern flank. At the southern flank, Ukrainian forces are attacking Boryki as well as Sparnoye, according to the Russian sources. Not sure why they call it Spatoye in this translation. Russian forces are attacking Boryki, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. Is the same thing. This is because the way of how they write it, the Russian Defense Ministry write it, they say that Army, Air Force, and artillery strike an action of defending troops. And there is this paragraph. So some may say that this is just artillery shelling. However, that right after this paragraph, the next paragraph talks about pure tactical aviation strikes, which is pure tactical air strikes, and that has nothing to do with defending troops. So, which means that the fighting around here, Boryki and some other places like Plekhovo, has something to do with Russian troops on the ground. So, which is why we just have to take it with a pinch of salt. Again, these are just signals. The signals, we do not know the real situation. So based on this information, we can have a general sense of what is happening. It's not the reality. Okay, There's no reality. So this is what it is. Over within Sumy region, there is shelling reported at Khotin, Loknia, as well as Mauritania. And clearly these are all various defensive or reserve positions continue to be getting shelled. So we just have to continue to wait and see how this situation unfold. A lot of tension because the Ukrainians are trying their best to break through out of this area, because they uh, these are all places that they got stuck. Without all these breakthroughs in these various strong points, the offensive would start to turn its head. And in my opinion, the offensive is already failing because they can't break through all these regions here. And if they just hold the line, just like what the Russians do, I don't think it served their purpose, because the Russians in the Kharkiv offensive, I mentioned before, I never believe that the Russians are intending to conquer Kharkiv or even get near it. So they did their job over here just to pin down the Ukrainian forces, but the Ukrainian forces do not have the kind of equipment supply like the Russians. There is no reason to play pinning operations, especially if you are attacking in maneuver warfare to the rear positions. That's not how you pin. If you do that, you are trying to assault and conquer grounds and trying to confuse the enemy. You don't get pin. You don't pin them. You get pinned yourself. So a lot of losses on the Ukrainian side. So just take it. For those pro-Ukrainian one, just control your emotions, because if you get too excited later, your emotional damage is going to get worse. So over at the border region, there's shelling reported at Luhivka, which is interesting. Previously, this is the Graveron sector where the Ukrainians actually previously have an attack. They reached very close to Graveron through this all these international legions and so whatnot. So there's some shelling around here. So I'm not sure if this is something serious, or the Ukrainians are gathering some forces to try something here. But this is a bad place to attack because the Chechens are here. So let's see how this goes. Over in the Kharkiv front, at the Kharkiv front, we only have the very basic of Russian attacking Lipsy and Voschansk. Nothing much happening around here. So let's see how this goes. Over at the Kupiansk front. In the northern part of Kupiansk front, there is a very unusual report. Military summaries geolocated the Russian strike on the bridge of Komyanka, and this is destroyed. The bridge was destroyed by the Russians, and I'm even surprised that there was an intact bridge at the first place. So not sure if this going to mean anything, but like I say, signal. So you can do your own analysis why this is the case. What would this do tactically and strategically? That's the whole point of the SITREP. Actually, right from day one, why I map and report all these things. And it used to be a lot more boring because there's no jokes, and now I'm just simply telling you the information and allow you to do analysis. But I realize that a lot of people don't follow daily, so they don't know what is the hell is happening, which is why I started to add more commentary to it. So no, it's not that I wanted to do the commentary in this way. I not wanting to tell you how to think, but I realize that a lot of people just doesn't watch every day, so I have to explain a bit more. So for those that are watching every day, don't get affected by my analysis. You can actually make your own assessments. So in the Kupiansk front, Russian forces are attacking Sinkivka, Petropavlivka, and Stepovan over Selivka. And this is the weird one because we haven't had fighting almost for a month, and suddenly fighting is being reported here. So this is interesting to me. In the south, over at the Pischanets front, there is fighting reported towards Novosenove, over at Perestove, towards Lozova, as well as Temakivka. So this sector continues to be very active. The Russians are still doing actions around here. Final objective, I'm not sure. I have talked to some, I'm not sure, on Twitter or somewhere. They were asking about this. Whether the Russians will just go all the way to the Oskil River. And my answer is I'm not sure. Because the Russians have this history of always attacking and then stop. Because there's always a plan beneath the plan beneath the plan. And no one actually knows what the Russians is going to do. So for example, even like the Kharkiv front, the Russians could overrun certain positions, but they didn't. So they just deliberately leave it as a kill box. And the Ukrainians often just step into it. So the Russians now doing all this offensive, I'm not sure if it's just to draw Ukrainian attention or do they really want to cut the Ukrainian forces into half. We don't know. And is from my experience, trying to predict Russian actions is extremely difficult. I'm always wrong. So over, just like I thought that they will hit north in the anti-FK front. They didn't. They went for a more difficult target, in my opinion, Pokrov. Uh, and in the end, it turned out to be much more easier than I thought because the Ukrainians are doing such a bad job defending there. Russian forces attacking towards Kopanki, towards Kharkivka as well as Makiivka in the Sviatove front, and this is very interesting because we haven't seen Kopanki since late June, and so a lot of so we have two new locations were reported having fighting, and this is not inclusive of the yesterday's SITREP, where we also mentioned quite a number of new places that receive fighting, like Novoserhiyevka. So I wonder if there's some kind of new operations on the Russian side, along the Oskil fronts. For those that do not know, it's the Oskil River around here. So the entire front line all across here are the Oskil fronts. Over at the Crimea front, the Russian forces are attacking Novosadove as well as in Dibrova. This looks very nothing much. So probably nothing much. Just off Zabrishne, there is a counter-artillery action against Ukrainian artillery. So that's all from this sector. Over at the Sivers front, Russian forces continue their Sivers offensive, fighting reported at Verkhamokanyamsky, Vimka, Berezne. And a geolocation of Russian forces south of Ivano-Darivka, still clearing operations, I think. So according to the Crimea Caprice, they say that the Russian forces are blowing up the few fortifications. So I believe these are just clearing operation. Shelling is reported at Serebianka, and that's about it. Not much news around here. No, we just have to wait for more intel drop. Over at the Bakhmut front, do we have anything south? Okay. At the Bakhmut front, cannot fit in. Okay. Just make do with this. Russian forces are attacking Kharkovivka, Chesivya, Ivanytsky, and Klishchievka. And this is a static front. I don't expect too much from this area, except for in the northern sectors. In Kharkovivka, Russian forces, according to the Ukrainian mapping, seems to have entered to the first houses of Kharkovivka. So they have taken the full tree line, and I'm not sure if the Russians will start to push through the entire village. So let's wait and see how this develops. Very interesting to see the map change. Very small one. And over at the New York front, the emotional damage front is very emotional damaging. Russian forces are attacking at Druzhba, Pivnishne, Zalizne, and New York, as well as at Nelipivka. So this is the current situation in the front entirely on the strategic side. We go into details. Over in the Druzhba region, Druzhba Pivnishne region, Russian forces have taken the full street around at Druzhba, according to the Ukrainian mapping. Geolocation show Russian forces very far north over at Pivnishne. So this means that the Russians have taken basically almost the entire north of Pivnishne. And this is a huge amount of ground that they have lost suddenly. And then then the Ukrainian mapping, then after that map this is not in the frontline changes report. That in their assessment or their mapping is much more, that the Russians have taken much more grounds in the north, and geolocation in the south. In the south of this location, Russian forces probably have some increase of their foothold over at this area just off Thorax. So I believe this area is part of Thorax already. This is the high-rise zone of Thorax, just stick next to Pivnishne, and so the Russians continue to hold this line around here. So very interesting formation. And I believe that the Russians are not ready to storm the high-rise zone because it will be just a full frontal attack. I believe the Russians are going to continue to go through the forest and find another way, another vector of attack, perhaps towards the Dacia if they can capture all of this, and probably hit to the rear position of Druzhba to push the Ukrainians out. So that is a possibility, but let's wait and see how this goes over in the Pivnishne region. Over the Zalizne region, the Russian forces geolocated in the new location, confirming the Russians starting to push from Zalizne towards Thorax from a new direction. In the frontline changes report, I mentioned this is a possible pincer that is developing. Because the Ukrainians are pushing in this direction, this could be the second vector of attack. So let's wait and see. The third one is over here. So the Ukrainian mapping then map that they have lost this area to the Russians. Clearly, there's no one going to be there. So this is a nothing mapping. So then we have this thing that pissed me off. Over at New York, Russian forces have mapped that this is Russian mapping, that they have taken the entire of New York, including the entire northwestern outskirt of New York. This is claimed by the Russian mapping, that they have taken everything along the Zalizna River and all the way up to Nelipivka. And so this is based on the Russian mapping. The Russian Defense Ministry have declared the capture of New York. So Russian Defense Ministry have declared the center group of forces, a large group of enemy was defeated, and one of the largest settlement in the Torak sector has been captured, Novgorodskoye, which is New York. So this area is declared captured by the Russian Defense Ministry. However, Deep State UA is playing this game. They draw an encirclement here, and they claim that the only 2 roads are taken by the Russian side, which is unbelievable. Like, is no way that's going to be the case. It don't make sense at all. So, and I don't believe that Ukrainian forces getting encircled. So I don't think so. But anyway, this is the information over here. So just take it with a pinch of salt. And so we're going to move on from this area. Moving to the Avdiivka front in the northern front, we have the usual, which almost no point talking about, Vorstivizenka, Zelenopole, as well as Kalinove. The Russians are not serious about pushing here, so all these things are rather nothing burger over here. So many nothing burgers. I hope you guys enjoy the burger I have served so far. It's filled with emotional damage. So over at the Pokrov sector. At the Pokrov sector, we have fighting reported at Horodivka, Novohorodivka, Mykolaievka, towards Marinivka, towards Mikhailivka, Zavinne, Pivtishe. And then suddenly, there's fighting reported at Skushny and at Khalevka. So this is the current strategic situation around here. The significance, of course, is the Russian forces making some small little progress around at Horodivka as they continue to push slowly. No rush, because the flanking operations are not completed. So and no updates regarding this Yaya place. Krasnaya and Krutiya. No, the Yaya place haven't confirmed any new developments. Then Deep State UA has this new mapping that eluded me from the Frontline Changes report. They have reported that the Russian forces have taken more of this railway line. Apparently, they really followed the railway all the way, and now they have reached the outskirts of Novohorodivka, the second first boss. Yeah, so this is a huge development, and this looks like a very modern city, which is why it's Novo. You can see the road design. Yeah, it looks more modern to me, but yeah, this is going to lead all the way to Pokrov. If the Russians continue to go through the highway, the railway. So let's see how this develop. Nothing much change around here. All this fighting, and then fighting continued to be reported at Pitishe, although the Ukrainian Defense Ministry have not acknowledged the fall of Komashivka anyway. And then the Ukrainian Defense Ministry mentioned Skushny, which is interesting because Deep State UA has already declared Skushny under Russian control. So maybe it's the other side of Skushny. I'm not sure. I don't think there's a crossing here. So there's no crossing around here. So not sure how this Skushny works. And so that's it from this area. In the Battle of Krasnohorivka, Russian forces geolocated in Krasnohorivka. So forward positions getting shelled by the Ukrainian side. So nothing much. The Battle of Krasnohorivka continues in the Donetsk front. Over in the Paraskoviyevka region at Konstantinivka, Russian forces finally made some progress in Paraskoviyevka region, and this triggers us to declare Paraskoviyevka as captured, because the Russian forces has been stuck along this river line for a long time. They didn't manage to break through, and finally now they have a new location confirming Russian capture of Paraskoviyevka. So This is the first big news in this region for a long time. Fighting is ongoing over in the battle of Konstantinivka, so no updates regarding this. So moving south, over at the Vodian region, there is a new geolocation in another vector of attack. The slowest one has some progress, with Russian forces taking more grounds around here, as the armored vehicle of the Russian side getting destroyed around this position. So Ukrainians are still trying their best to defend this line, because this line is really very strategically important, but it is now having a lot of holes right now, so that is a problem. Fighting is still reported in the direction of Vodian, generally speaking, so we will continue to monitor. And then no more fighting for Leda being reported. There we still have fighting reported, in the region of Prashestivka, or shelling reported. So yeah, I'm not sure why Prashestivka is always this magnet for all sort of airstrike and helicopter strike. So yeah, this is what it is. So nothing at the Velika Novosilka sector. Over at the Zaporizhia front, this is Zaporizhia city and this is the Zaporizhia front. At the Zaporizhia front, we have fighting reported over at Mala Tomashka, towards Novodanilivka and Petikaki. So this continues. Over Mala Tomashka, there is a Russian airstrike being recorded on the Ukrainian forces at Mala Tomashka. Otherwise, that's all from the Zaporizhia front. And we move into the Kherson front. At the Kherson front, Ukrainian Defense Ministry mentioned fighting in the direction of Dnipropetrovsk. Yeah, but we do not know what's the front line. No one likes to talk about this area. So that's it from this front. And so this is the entire SITREP. So that's it. So this is the summary for the day of 909 for the 20th of August. Press the like button, subscribe. And sorry for the rant. Sometimes this have to happen. And sometimes, there's always new people coming in. So from time to time, I will explain things, my background, how the mapping works, how information warfare works. So I have to talk about this from time to time to share. But I'm not sure if many of you guys would have heard it, but I did my best, and I'll do share this if you find it useful, and I'll see you guys in the next update.